Hey there, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and we are starting a 24-hour reading timer. I have this timer and it's set for 23 hours and 59 minutes. It won't go to the full 24, so, close enough. And I haven't ever done one of these before, but I'm gonna give it a try. So I'll be starting with this book, Rewitched. It is November 1st as I'm starting this, and I'm not sure if it'll take a couple of days because, I have to do other things besides just read, like sleep, go to church, all that stuff. So we'll see how long it takes to get through, and I'm hoping that I can finish at least a couple of books within this 24 hours. So I'll be checking in with updates and things on the books, and we'll see you in a bit. You guys, I just killed the ugliest spider. I was sitting on the chair reading, and I had just come to a good stopping place, so I was popping in my bookmark and I see a spider going across my couch. So, like an action hero with a back who's out, I hobbled over to the couch as quickly as I could, grabbed a piece of fabric off of my fabric stash pile that was sitting on the end of the couch for crafting stuff, and snatched up that spider and squished it. I have no tolerance for spiders. I appreciate them eating the bugs and helping control the bug population of Earth, but they don't need to come into my house. Okay, let's talk about reading. So here's my timer. I'm at 22 hours and 7 minutes left, so I've read less than 2 hours. I did pause the timer to take a little power nap because my pain medication for my back being out is makes me sleepy sometimes. But I have read almost 100 pages in Rewitched by this point. It's about 7:30 on Saturday night, so I've got some more time this evening, and then almost all day on Sunday I can spend reading. I have church, and I also have Barbara and Louisa's Defember announcement video that's coming out. And of course, it's right at the time that's wrong for me in the day to watch live because of church. But anyway, that's really exciting because I love Defember. But the point of what I was trying to say was that I should have a good amount of time to do some reading. Oh, I also have to make Oreo truffles tomorrow. Crap. I instituted a store within my classroom, and we have these reward tickets that we give out to kids at our school, and I told them if you pull your tickets and get 100, I'll make Oreo truffles for your class period. And one of my classes did that in 2 days. So I'm going to have to crank up the price, inflation. But yeah, I've got to make truffles for those guys. But yeah, I should have some time to do some reading. Wow, I have rambled a whole lot. So it's about 7:30 on Saturday night, and I have the rest of this evening, and then I have Sunday that I can read. I don't know, like I said earlier, how long it'll take me to get through all of the 24-hour timer, because I have this thing where I can't just sit in an absolute silence and read. I have to have some kind of noise. So sometimes I'll put an ambiance video on YouTube, like crackling fire or, something like that. Or other times I'll just let a movie play that I've seen many times while I'm reading. I can't do the absolute silence. But then I also sometimes will get distracted by whatever it is that's creating the noise, and that I feel like I shouldn't be letting the timer run during those times and that kind of thing because I'm not reading. So long story short, it might take me several days to get through these 24 hours. We shall see. But I am enjoying this book so far. It wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, and that's okay because it's good. It's Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and it's about Belle, who is a witch, but she's her magical powers don't become permanent until she goes through some kind of trial on her 30th birthday. And in real life, she is a manager at this wonderful bookstore. It seems like this really cozy place. I keep picturing the King's English in Salt Lake City in my mind and stuff when they talk about this. It's called Lunar Books, and she uses like little small magics. Like at the bookshop in the kids section, she'll like enchant the books to put themselves back when no one's looking and stuff, because, you know, kids sometimes leave books sitting out. And at home, she'll have like magic to wash the dishes and that kind of thing. But she hasn't done any like big magic. And so she's worried that this trial is going to find her unworthy of being a witch and they're going to take away her powers forever, which is a possibility. So, excuse me. The point where I'm at, so I just finished chapter 8. So I'm on page 98. And she's about to, like, she's entered the trial, but somebody said, okay, we need to take a break and like kind of let her know what's happening. Because they could see she was really nervous. And so now they're about to head back into this trial where they're going to show her different parts of her life using her magic. And that's going to help them decide whether she's worthy or not to keep it. So we'll see what happens there. I thought that the trial was going to be more like at the very beginning of the book. And then the rest was going to be her working on like proving her worthiness to keep magic and that kind of thing. And more bookstore stuff. But I guess we'll see what happens after the trial. Anyway, time to go read some more, and we'll see you in a bit. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and I have 19 hours and 11 minutes left to go. So I've almost read for 5 hours, and I'm getting quite close to the end of Rewitched. So there's a scene that I really, really want to talk about, but if I do, I'm going to spoil some things for you guys who haven't read it. So for those of you who have read this, okay, think about when Rune comes over to Belle's apartment to congratulate her on one of her achievements in her spell work, and she makes them some coffee, and then something happens, but she thinks it's because of cause A, when really it's because of cause B, which the reader has known all along, and then she finds out the truth and she doesn't tell him the truth. Now, those of you who haven't read this are probably going, what in the heck are you talking about? Let's just say that the guy who has liked her since the beginning, he's part of the coven, and he's like kind of a guardian through her process of trying to earn her magic. Anyway, he's not like her mentor. She has a different teacher like for that, but he's just kind of watching over her for her safety and stuff because some other things are going on. Anyway, his name's Rune, and we know from the outset that he has liked her. She is the dense girl who's not getting it. Which sometimes I love, and sometimes it just drives me crazy. Anyway, I am enjoying the book. So Belle is trying to work on some things to earn her magic, because when I last left you, she hadn't gotten the official verdict from her witch trial yet. And what it ends up being is that they're undecided, so she has to prove herself within the month of October. She has to complete certain tasks and things. And so she is given this mentor, Artorius, who is a dubious character, according to some, but then he turns out to be really cheerful and delightful and helpful. And Belle's mom gets in on the action, trying to help her with some things, and some stuff happens with her mom. And meanwhile, she's still struggling at the bookstore. Her boss, Christopher, is a complete ass and chauvinistic to boot, and he's just like using her. He knows that she does everything, but he's trying to run the business in the ground. Like, for example, in the women's fiction display, he took out everything and put in male CEO biographies or autobiographies. Who wants to read those other than other male chauvinist pigs? Ew. The people who come to their store, Lunar Books, don't want to read those? Gross. Anyway, she's trying to deal with that on top of all the magical learning she's doing, and she's struggling with her roommate because her roommate doesn't know that she's a witch, and she's like, why are you gone all the time now? We never spend time together, and when you're here, you're mad at me. I can't do anything right, and they kind of get in a fight. So I'm at, let's see, what page am I at? 274, and there are 371 pages. So I've got a little less than 100 pages left and plenty of time. So I do have church today, and I have to make some Oreo truffles. What else was I going to do today? Don't know. Read, I guess. Oh, I was going to do some laundry, yeah. But that's just easy. So I will continue to read today. I've got some time before I go to church. I'll do some reading, and then I'm sure that I'll come in and catch up with you when I finish the book. So we'll see you in a little while. We interrupt this reading vlog to talk about breaking craft news. I just watched Barbara's video for Defember. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is going to be really fun. Now I love it when Barbara and Louisa make journals for each other and swap. But instead of that this year, they're swapping stash items, like elements that could go into making ephemera bits and stuff. And then they also send each other some snacks and things. And it's kind of funny because with my She Who Creates group, you know, from the Art Retreat with Barbara, there are 7 of us that have decided to swap scraps for Defember. So we're doing something a little bit different. We're sending 30 plus scraps and an ATC card, artist trading card. And then you can add whatever you want to the package individually. I get to send to Kimmy, who is our host for She Who Creates. And oh my goodness, I want to send her like amazing things. But I'm also like a little intimidated by her because she's so amazing. But anyway, now I'm thinking, oh, I also really want to do a swap like Barbara and Louisa are doing. So I'm definitely going to sign up in the Defember Facebook group. But now that I've watched Barbara's video, I need to go watch Louisa's video, or at least start it, because I'm not going to have time to watch the whole thing before I have to leave for church. But yeah, we'll do that. And then after I come back from church, then we'll get back to the reading thing after I finish Louisa's video. And we're back. So the timer is now down to 17 hours and 42 minutes. I have finished Rewitched. I really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars after running it through Compile. Maybe I was thinking it might even come out to be 4.5, but I mean, 4 stars, still good rating. I am not going to talk about what happens in the end, but I will say that the ending left one little opening, so I need to check and see if this is meant to be the start of a series. It might be. Everything I'm thinking of saying is going to spoil something. So I will say I would feel comfortable giving this to some of my high school kids. There is a tiny little bit of romance in there, but nothing really sexy happens. I'm not going to bring it to middle school just because it is about adult characters, and I'm really trying to get my kids to read about teenage characters. But that would probably be the only reason. I think there's like the F word in there once or twice, but my students hear that all the time from their peers, so whatever. I am finding that the timer is a good motivator to read because I'm wanting to like be able to click it on and have it running, but in order to do that I have to be reading and stuff, and I'm being pretty good so far about like pausing it when I stop to look up at something or whatever. It's just sitting on the arm of my chair right there. I am ready to start my next book, but I want to show you in my bullet journal. So when I read a book, I make a chapter tracker. This is my regular reading bullet journal. So this was my tracker for Rewitched. And I usually put a sticker of some kind, some washi tape, a 5-star rating sticker, the dates that I read, title and author up here. And then as I read each section of chapters, I color them in. And I have the tracker set up for my next book. You can see it's got some orange colors in it. And that is because the next book is going to be The Things Gods Break. This is a sequel. It is the sequel to this, The Games Gods Play, which I absolutely loved, and so I had to snatch up the sequel as soon as it came out. And the series starts following a young lady who is chosen by Hades to represent him in the, what are they called? The Crucible. These games between the Greek gods who rule the world. And she's kind of been, I can't remember if she's strictly cursed by Zeus or looked down on by Zeus. Anyway, she's trying to fly under the radar in life, but then Hades picks her to be his like champion in the competition. And lots of things happen that I can't really tell you because you just need to read it. But I mean, look, pretty book, pretty book. And then the sequel, of course, has also some gorgeous sprayed edges. This is just the regular edition that you can get on Amazon. It's not like from a book box or anything. So I'm really excited to get into this one. It is over 500 pages, so it's going to take longer. I don't know if it will take up the rest of the time on the 24-hour timer, but we're ready to go. I've got my orange marker to color in chapters as I read, and yeah, I do have a separate reading bullet journal that I do reviews in, and I haven't done a review since the beginning of the summer in that one. I need to get back in that habit, but it just feels like there's never enough time. I don't know. Anyway, I do also really want to do some crafting today, so I might actually start an audiobook, and I have one on my TBR that I need to read or listen to soon because the loan's going to be due back at Libby in just a few days. So that would be I Kissed Shara Wheeler. It is part of my official November TBR. And if you didn't see my November TBR video, I will link it down below. You can go check that out. I do a version of Jade from JD Reads TBR Pursuit. I created my own game inspired by that. And yeah, it's time to go do some more reading or crafting while listening to a book. One of those things is going to happen. I'll see you later. Hello. It is Monday in the late afternoon, and we are down to 15 hours and 5 minutes. Sunday evening, I read a bit, but I was in a lot of pain, so I didn't read as much as I was hoping to. At school, I was able to listen to an audiobook for a little while during my planning hour. I say hour, it's not really an hour, but my planning time. And so I listened to a good portion of I Kissed Shara Wheeler. And that one, if you're not familiar, is an LGBTQ plus title. It's by Casey McQuiston. And it follows a girl who is a theater kind of girl. And one day, the super popular girl named Shara Wheeler at their Christian school, very Christian school, kisses her and then disappears, like actually disappears. And there are a few people that Shara has kissed, and she has left behind clues and notes and things for people. And I don't know if I should say more than that. But that's where I'm at with the reading. I have a Fairy Loot unboxing to film. So when you see that, I'll be in the same lovely gray shirt. It's, yeah, so nice. And what else do I have to do tonight? I don't know. But I will have time to read. So hopefully I get some more read in advance further on the timer. So that's it for this check-in. We'll see you in a little while. Hey there, it is now Tuesday and it's time for another update. So the last time I checked in with you, it was Monday, and I had read, oh gosh, like 68-ish pages in The Things Gods Break up to that point, okay? Now it's Tuesday evening, not ready for bed yet, so I'll probably read some more, but I have now read 421 pages. There's like 104 chapters or something, and I've read 85 chapters. So I have been reading a lot since the last time I checked in. I really want to talk about this book, but because it's a sequel, I'm like, what can I say? What can I not say? So here's what I have decided. I am going to jump into like a really spoilery thing, and when I'm done with the spoilery thing, I'm going to wave my hands like this. So if you don't want to know, you can mute your device until you see me waving my hands, and then you'll know that the spoiler section will be over. Okay, so here we go. In the first book, Lyra is cursed by Zeus to be unlovable, and then Hades chooses her as his champion to go in the Crucible, which is a competition. In the second book, Lyra has already won the competition. She won at the end of the first book, and she has been made queen of the gods or something, at least Hades' queen anyway. And so in the very end of the first book, she gets sucked into Tartarus where the Titans live. And this book is all about her trying to fight her way through Tartarus. There are seven different locks, each made by one of the gods that imprisoned the Titans. So like she has to go through a challenge or task set by Hades and one by Poseidon, and all the ones. And she has Boone there, which was her friend in the first book. They kind of grew up in the same thieves guild, and anyway, they're working through that. I am about 100-ish pages away from the end, and I really hope that she's gonna make it through. And there's like, oh my gosh, so much craziness happening. Okay, so I don't even know how many spoilers I really said during that minute, but I just needed to like spit out some of the words because I can't talk to my students about this book. This is like a grown-up book, and there's sexy times in it. There's not much. There's only been one actual sexy time scene in here, but they've talked about it other times, and they use the F word a lot and stuff. So this is not going to be a book I recommend for my middle schoolers. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it. I had some time at school today where the kids were working and didn't really need me. And I tell them every day, like multiple times each class period, please come and ask me if you need help. Or like I'll be wandering around, does anyone need help? Are we okay? Good? All right. And they just didn't need me today. So I read for quite a bit. So between what I read at school and what I read after school and then Monday night as well, I am just under the 10-hour mark. So I have read 14 hours on this journey of the 24-hour timer. And I will read a bit more before I go to bed tonight because I am very much wide awake and wanting to keep going with the book. If I happen to finish it before I go to bed, I will check back in again and let you know. I don't know if I'll read that much though. We'll see. Anyway, I think that's it for this particular check-in, and it's time for me to get back to the book. Hello. It is now Wednesday evening. I was gonna update the vlog this morning before I went to school because I did stay up and read a little bit more, but I was busy getting ready and stuff, and then I got to school and realized, oh yeah, I was gonna update the vlog. Oops. So, I didn't finish this last night, but I did finish it this morning. 5 stars on Cowpile. So we'll do the thing like we did in the last installment where I'm going to say something spoilery and then I will wave my hands like this when the spoiler part's done. So if you don't want to hear this part, mute your device. Here we go. So Lyra, our main character, managed to get through all of the gates in Tartarus and got herself out. And in the process, she learned that the Titans were not evil like we'd always believed they were, and that Kronos ate his children and all this stuff. And he actually ended up being a really good guy. And while that was going on, Hades is up in Olympus pretty much flattening the place because none of his siblings will help him get Lyra out. And it all works out in the end. I won't go into every detail that they have to do and some of the other stuff, but it's good. Okay. All right, welcome back from the spoilery bit. So as I said, I did give this 5 stars. There is a window open for the series to continue because the whole time there has been, in this book, they found out that there has been a massive betrayal for basically all of the history of the Greek gods and the Titans and stuff that anyone can remember. And the very last bit, the epilogue, is from the point of view of the deceiver. And Abigail Owen, she knows how to leave you with a cliffhanger ending. Like, holy cow. So I'll be waiting another year to read the next one. In terms of audiobooks, I'm about 45 minutes away from finishing I Kiss Shara Wheeler, and I'm liking it-ish. The main characters kind of like figured out what happened, and I'm not happy with the result. So there better be a good resolution, and that's all I'm going to say. Otherwise, my star rating is going to go down. For physical reading, after I finish The Things Gods Break, I picked up Air of Storms, this gorgeousness, and I, as of now, have read 52 pages, and my timer is at 7 hours and 14 minutes and 55 seconds. I feel like I'm making good progress. I know some people who do these 24-hour read timer vlogs and stuff can knock it out in a couple of days. Good for them. I don't know how they do it. It's taken me a while, but I'm really, really, really enjoying the process. So much so that I probably will use this timer even when I'm not doing timer vlogs, because it's really satisfying to me to look at the timer and go, holy cow, I read that much in that amount of time. Anyway, I just realized the light's making it look like I have like a gray streak in my hair. It's okay. I've been getting gray hair since I was 30. Anyway, let's talk about Air of Storms. Not only is it a gorgeous book to look at, it is about Blaze, who is a rain singer, and she was born in a family of fire wielders, and it's very odd. In the prologue, we hear about this massive storm that's causing flooding and all this stuff just after Blaze is born. She and her twin brother Flint were born to this family of fire wielders, and there are people representing all different kinds of elemental magic in this kingdom where they are, and it's very unusual for someone with water magic to be born into a family of fire magic stuff. But anyway, as a brand new baby, she's causing this massive storm until her mom finally realizes it's my baby that's doing this, and she kind of like takes her out and holds her up like Simba, and Blaze stretches out her hand and stops the storm. And since that time, she hasn't been able to produce any water magic of any like substance. She can produce a little tiny bit of vapor, and that's about it. And so now, after the prologue, we're learning that she and her brother are going to have this big party to celebrate them kind of coming of age and, you know, that kind of thing. And so people from all over the kingdoms and like these different elemental houses and things are coming to meet her. And a lot of people in the kingdom don't like her, even having never met her, because in the storm that she caused when she was a baby, there was a lot of flooding. Some people lost their lives, family members, that kind of thing. And so she's really scared. And there's something that has just happened at the party that's going to kick her off into a world of trouble, I think. But I don't know if I should explain that right now, because we'll just say that she kind of loses control of her power and does something that upsets everyone. Yeah, I think that'll do it. So I'm excited to see what else happens for her. I'm going to hold up the end papers. This is the Fairy Loot edition of this book, and look at this. We have the blue foiling of the raindrops coming down. Ugh. It's so beautiful. My students, lately I have been reading several books with sprayed edges when I'm at school, and my students keep going, do we get to read that one? Do we get to read that one? And some of them I will let them read. Like, if The Things Gods Break was appropriate for middle school, even though it has sprayed edges, I would let them read it because it's not like a special edition. It's not appropriate for middle school though, so not gonna. But like this one, this is too bloody gorgeous to let 13-year-olds get their hands on. So if it's okay for middle school, I will be buying another copy that's not special edition to share with them. So I want to do a little bit more reading before I go to bed tonight. I've been trying to get my printer to behave. we had some family pictures taken, and we just got the pictures from the photographer, the files to download today. And I wanted to just print some on matte photo paper just to hang up in my classroom of my nieces and nephews. And my printer is being a butthead, so I'm gonna go see if I can get that to work. If not, I'll send some to like Shutterfly or something and have regular photos printed, and it'll be okay. But I would show you some of the pictures, but they're kids, and actually I have one I can show you. I will insert one of me and my brother and sister, because that's all adults. So there you go. There's a look at me and my siblings. Yeah, and it's time for me to go try to be productive with the rest of my evening. So we'll see you in a little while. Hi, it's Thursday, early evening, and I have 4 hours and 23 minutes left. So theoretically I could finish this timer tonight, but I don't know for sure if I will, because I am feeling like the sleepiness coming on, and I might need a little bit of like a power nap or something, or just to go to bed early. But let's catch you up on some reading stuff. So I Kissed Shara Wheeler last night before I went to bed. Ended up giving it 3 stars. There were just some things that I didn't like with how the plot wound up, and the Shara Wheeler character, I really, really did not like her. She's just kind of a manipulative B word. So then this morning for audiobooks, I started Tress of the Emerald Sea. I listened to it on my way to work and then during my planning time, lunch break, and all that, and I'm loving it so far. It's Brandon Sanderson. That doesn't surprise me at all that I'm loving it. The writing is fantastic. Again, not surprising. This is about Tress, who lives on an island in an emerald green ocean, and she just is like loving her simple life. She loves to collect cups, and she has her best friend Charlie, who is like, she describes him as being like gloves that fit just right. Like, he's comfort, he's home, and she's just realizing that she has romantic feelings towards him when he is taken away on a voyage to find a bride, and he's been like pretending to her that he's like an ordinary farm boy, but really he's the son of a Grand Duke or something like that. Anyway, and then something really bad happens when Charlie's on the trip, because he has promised her, I'm going to try to like make the girls not like me and all this stuff. And so his father actually sent him to, or was he kidnapped by the sorceress of the Midnight Sea? So Charlie's actually been taken by the sorceress of the Midnight Sea, and Tress has to like get herself kind of stow away on to a pirate ship and try to find the sorceress so that she can find Charlie and bring him home and they can be together. And she never thought that she would like leave her island, but she feels like she has to, because she feels like Charlie's her person and she's got to go save him. So yeah, anyway, it's kind of like a fairy tale. It's very cozy so far, and like sometimes the narrator talks to the audience and says, don't ask questions like that. some funny things. Yeah, so I'm almost halfway through this book so far, and just like I said, really, really loving it. And then for physical reading, I've read a little bit more in Air of Storms, but not much. We have had a major inciting incident though. So our main character, I told you about her, Blaze, she has water magic. Well, she and her brother, who has fire magic, have been chosen to be part of this competition to see who gets to be a ruling person in the kingdom, and only 4 people can be the final rulers, and so everything else is just going to take off from here, and there's going to be this competition, and I don't know what's going to happen or not happen. Hopefully both siblings can make it through. They also have a darling little brother, and I just want to snuggle him. Oh, he's so sweet. But anyway, we'll see how she does here. And yeah, I think that's about all I've got to tell you for this installment. So I might check back in again tonight or maybe tomorrow. Hello. It's Friday in the early afternoon. It was a teacher work day, but we could leave early if we're going to the football game, and you know I take pictures of the football game, and I made it through the first half of the football game before my back gave out on me, and it's not like out like it was before. It just hurts so bad that I can't stay at the game. I have to be constantly moving up and down the field. It's grass field, so it's uneven ground, which is not good for stability, and I have a heavy camera that I'm lugging around, and I'm in too much pain to do that. But on the bright side, during the morning, since it was a teacher work day, I got to spend a lot of time in my classroom alone, which meant I could listen to an audiobook. And on my 24-hour timer, I have 2 hours and 3 minutes left. So I'm about 85% of the way through Tress of the Emerald Sea. This beautiful book right here. We've got piratey adventures going on, and Tress is finding out that she is a lot more exceptional than she thought she was. She thought she was just a plain old ordinary girl, but she's become a pirate. She's outsmarting people. She's like kind of taking the lead in this crew, and there's awesome things happening, and I'm really excited about finishing it up. Hopefully I'll be able to do that this afternoon and evening. But right now I have to go sit at my computer, or maybe I'll stand and like rock from side to side depending on how my back is feeling, because I have to go through 1,277 photos that I took in the first half of the game, because my community expects me to get the photos edited and uploaded game day within a few hours, and it's easier to just do it and not deal with the shitty people than to like put it off until I'm feeling 100% better. So I'm just gonna go do that now. I made it! Time's up! So in the last 2 hours of the timer, I finished Tress of the Emerald Sea, ended up rating it 4.5 out of 5 stars, would round up to a 5. It's very, very enjoyable and fun. And I also read a little bit more in Air of Storms. So in this one, I told you Blaze and her brother have been chosen to go to this competition and possibly become rulers, like kings and queens of the different areas in the kingdom. And she's entered her first trial, but before the trials begin, each person is assigned a chaperone, and it's kind of like in Hunger Games, you know how Katniss had Effie Trinket and then Cinna was her stylist. Like those two jobs kind of come together, and so her chaperone is Spinner, and they're kind of like a manager and a stylist and everything all thrown into one. Anyway, Blaze already knows the prince, the guy that's for sure going to be like the head king, because what happens is like there's the king who's over everything, and the prince that she has met and danced with at her birthday party, he is going to inherit from his father, so he's going to be over everything. And then there are the 4 elemental kings or queens, one for, fire, water, earth, and air. Yeah. Anyway, we still haven't met one of the entrants. There are 4 kids competing in each of the 4 categories, and one of them hasn't shown up yet. He's one of the earth ones, and I think he's going to be important in the story, because I went to put in 2 of the overlays and was looking at the guide for where the overlays go, and they mention a name that hasn't shown up in the story yet, which is Fox. And so Fox, I think, is going to be the final participant, and when he shows up, I think he's going to be very important in the story, probably a love interest, who knows. But I will show you the 2 overlays that I have put in. So this is Blaze, her little brother Renly, and then twin brother Flint right here. This is during the eclipse. The eclipse happens during their birthday party, and it's like the announcement that the time has come for another competition to find the new rulers, whatever. And then the other overlay that I have put in is this one, which is Blaze reading in the library. She's found a book that has helped her understand how her water powers are supposed to work. So yeah, she's, like I say, she's in her first trial, or just made it through the first trial, and at first I was like, I don't understand what this trial has to do with becoming a ruler eventually, but then I figured it out. Anyway, it's pretty good so far. The book in general, I mean, is pretty good. I'm not like in love with it, but as is sometimes the case with very beautiful books on the outside, sometimes their insides can't live up to the hype. And I mean, look at this. It's freaking gorgeous. So I will keep reading. Definitely still enjoying this story, but just, I don't know, maybe it's because I just read The Things Gods Break. That was my last physical read, and absolutely in love with that series. So maybe this is suffering by comparison. I don't know. I feel like I'm confusing you guys, but you know what? I need to wrap this up because I have now made it through the 24-hour timer. It took me almost a week to do it, but I made it through, and even with a bad back. So yeah, I need to go take some pain pills and go to bed because I'm tired. Yeah, thanks for joining me in this vlog. Let me know if you'd like to see something like this again in the future at some point. And if you want to leave a comment but aren't sure quite what to say, let me know you're here by leaving me a book emoji. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.